Hi, all. It's Jason, and I'm here with our Good Friday devotional. I hope the day finds you well. Good Friday, one of those odd names for the Christian holidays. Good, but also Friday, the day when we remember and commemorate the death of Jesus Christ for those crimes against the state. Good, yes, but such a challenging day because it's the day when we recognize that we are capable of killing Jesus. But over the many years, we have turned it into a good day because we remember the benefits that come from this day. Look, we know that there is grace at the foot of the cross when we sit there and remember that which Jesus did in the forgiveness that we find. We do understand there's grace there. There's mercy in the cross when we remember that Jesus forgave even those that nailed the nails into his hands. He forgave those that sentenced him to death. There is grace and mercy there. And so we do know the benefits of the cross. We know it so much that we need it. We know it so much that we yearn for those benefits. And we turn this day, this sad day, into a day of remembering the good in it because God can do good in anything, I suppose, right? We've done so much to this day that we've turned the cross into an ornament. It should be a torture device, but we've turned it into something that we hang from our crosses or we put on the bumpers of our cars. We've turned this day into a good thing because we can say on this day and in this day, Jesus died for my sins. Truly, that is a benefit. Truly, it is. But I wonder if there's a benefit also to another question that we can ask in this day. And that question is this: why did they kill Jesus? What was it about Jesus that caused him to die? Now, we could explain this in many ways. We could say it's God's will that Jesus died, that he came to die. We could say something along the lines of that this would fulfill prophecy because we find prophecy in the Old Testaments that speak to this, like Isaiah and the suffering servants. Maybe those are true, but that's not really what I asked, was it? Why did they kill him? What did he do that they wanted that man dead? Well, we begin that story maybe in Mark 3. There's a story in Mark where there's a man with a shriveled hand that's in the temple. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the temple leaders and everybody, I suppose, were there. And they were watching to see if Jesus was going to heal this man on this Sabbath day, a day when they believed he shouldn't be healed at all. So Jesus recognized what was going on, and he asked them, which should I do today? Should I heal and let live, or should I not heal and let die? And they had no answer for him. And so he turned to the man with the shriveled hand, and he healed him right there on the spot. And it says right after that, that they wanted to kill him for it. And they wanted to kill him because, well, they were embarrassed by him. They were told that their faith was wrong. They were told that their faith, which they held so pure and so deep and they felt so richly, Jesus told them that it was wrong, and it embarrassed them. It challenged their power. They felt like they were the ones that got to make these answers and make these right answers, to say that whether you could do something or could not do something. And yet here Jesus was taking that power away from them. He was taking away their privilege. I assume they didn't see themselves as privileged. I assume they felt like they'd earned what they had. And yet Jesus was taking that privilege away. They did then what humans always do when these times happen. They tried to shut him up. And the very beginning of Mark, early on, Mark 3, they were already trying to find ways to kill Jesus. But even that wasn't the first time that someone tried to kill Jesus. If you remember from Matthew 2, Herod was on his case, on his back long before he went into ministry. Just when he was a little baby, Herod wanted to kill Jesus because those wise men showed up asking the most dangerous question of all: where is the king of the Jews? See, Herod thought he was the king of the Jews, and yet these men from a foreign country come in and they ask, where is the king of the Jews? You're not him, Herod. Where can I find him? And so immediately after that, Herod went on the hunt for Jesus, on the hunt for this one that was supposed to be born to rise up again and bring the Jewish nation back. And so Herod went to hunt him down. And we understand what power can do when it's threatened, when we recognize all the damage that Herod did. He didn't just try to hunt down Jesus by looking for him. He killed every child under 2 years old in that village, trying to kill Jesus. They've always been trying to kill him because he's always been a threat to power. You remember those times when Jesus fired off at the Pharisees and the temple leaders, I'm sure. He called them such things as broods of vipers. He called them hypocrites. He called them children of vipers. He said that you're sending people to hell. He told them, he said, you're giving to the church. You're giving your tithes to the church. You're careful to give 10% of every single thing, but you're not doing the work of the church, he said. He said, God's work is simply to love mercy, love justice, and walk humbly with your God. But you're not doing that. You're doing all these other things, and you're sending people to hell, Jesus said. He believed that so much that not long before his death, just a few days before, he strolled up in the temple and he began flipping tables and busting up open bird cages. He started chasing people around with a whip he made. He was making sure that they recognized they were not the power. He was the power. He was the image of God, he said. He was the one that made everyone understand what God looked like, not them. They weren't it, and so they were threatened. They were told that they were not in the image of God, that they were not righteous in the name of God. Not them, not the powerful, not the important, not the ones who just knew that they made the rules. No, it was this rebel from Nazareth. That's the one that truly had the power in this world, and they didn't like that a bit. Why did they kill him? Why did he die? He died because of pride. He died because of power. He died because of privilege. He died because people wanted to keep the status quo exactly like it is. He died for the same reason that we always killed those folks. He died because he had to be shut up. Today we remember that God is not the bringer of the violence in this story. It's not God's choice that Jesus died. The better world would have been for everybody to embrace this way of Jesus Christ, but they didn't. When Jesus came strolling in to change the way the world worked, people wanted to shut him up. And so we remember that that is what we are capable of, we people, when we function out of our pride and our privilege and wanting the status quo to be the same. We always try to shut those people up. And on this day, they shut Jesus up for a little bit. See, 3 days later, God's power came in. It wasn't the power of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and even Satan anymore. It was the power of God that rose Jesus up out of that grave. Because God is the bringer of life, not of violence and of death. God is the bringer of life, and that happens on Sunday. But we can't get to Sunday if we don't recognize what killed Jesus on Friday. Now, thank God for the resurrection, because we do find forgiveness now because of it. But today, let's remember why they killed Jesus. It's the same reason we always kill those who speak the truth. It's because the truth is just too dangerous. I hope you find the truth today, and I hope we allow it to let us live. Allow it to let us live inside of us so that we understand the goodness of what God can bring. That's what I look for, and I will look for through Sunday. Let's find life. God bless. Talk to you later, and bye-bye.